Good day, folks. Welcome to MB Wildman channel. On today's video, just real quick, I want to show you something real neat. A good do-it-yourself project for your man cave or for your hunting, skinning place or whatever you want to call it. I call it my Euro tree. So you can buy these online, and you can get them on Amazon. You can get them at Cabela's, I think. Before you're done, you're going to have a couple, $300-400 spent. You don't need to. Super quick, super easy. Going to show you right now. Listen, if you haven't yet subscribed to MB Wildman channel, we sure would appreciate it. Just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you like the content, you can click on that bell. You'll get notified when we upload new stuff. So the Euro tree. Finally got my, not finally, I guess. I got around to getting my my deer head done from this year. So this is the 7-point from this year. And not a massive deer, but a real nice eater. And every deer's got a story. Every deer is a trophy in my books. So anyway, got this one all done up, got the skull all cleared up, and looking to do something unique with it, something different, right? As opposed to just sticking it up on the wall. If you haven't seen the video, by the way, of this hunt, it is up on the channel. I'll try to put a link like somewhere here up in the corner or something. But anyway, so what do? You got your Euro mount, you know, you got 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 of these kicking around, and you've been fortunate enough to get a few bucks over the years. What do you do with your Euros? Well, you can put them up on the wall, of course, and my favorite Euro mount is, of course, just this simple handrail bracket. Again, if you haven't seen the video where I show you how to use these babies, as opposed to like skull hookers and all that stuff, you can buy a skull hooker, nothing wrong with them. They're like 30, 40 bucks or 50 bucks or 60 bucks or something. They're crazy money. Or you can go to your hardware store and pay $5 and buy a handrail bracket, and they do the exact same thing. So what I'm going to do is show you real quick the what I call my Euro tree. So all I did was find in my world a real nice piece of, this is actually just a piece of pine, live edge, and I threw a quick coat of stain on it, took my torch, burned it a little bit to kind of match the colors, the color scheme, but you can use anything. To do this, you could use a piece of 2x4, 2x6, just something regular, something plain. I like to use something a little bit more fancy because, you know, you can. And this stuff is kicking around a lot of lumber yards, a lot of mills. You'll get, you know, you can get some guys that'll just give you a little piece. This one is about, I like to start with something, this is about 4 feet long. Okay, a little wider on the bottom than it is on the top. And it's got some unique characteristics. It's still got some branches, and it's got lots of live edge, and there's like little worm holes here and whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just whatever kind of piece of wood that you like, whatever you think that you like and whatever fits in your space, okay? So the first thing that I am gonna do to start my Euro tree is I'm gonna get 4 of these brackets. Now, if you've got a 4-foot piece of wood, I recommend 4 brackets. Now you can squeeze them up a little bit. A lot of it depends on the size of the deer that you shoot. And if you're gonna use this for bear, which you can as well, you can squeeze them up a little bit. You could get 6 in a 4-foot span, but I like to do 4 brackets, like 1 every foot. So if I've got a, you know, if you got lots of Euros and you want to make a nice tall tree in the corner, you can get 6 or 8 or whatever it is you want. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bracket off and I'm going to install it. I'm going to measure down. I'm going to put my first one. So if you look at the way that I want this to go, I want my first rack, the antlers, to be just above, not all the way above, like I don't want it way up here, but I want basically the brow tines to be level with this. So I'm just going to measure down from the top of this to the brain cavity right there, and that's where I'm going to mount this. Okay, so that turned out to be about 7 inches or so down from the top to this mount. Again, if you haven't seen the video on using the those banister brackets to mount these, go ahead and check that out. It's a really good one. So anyway, you have your bracket just like that, right? So you got your Euro mount bracket as such, right? So it's going to hang just like that, super solid, right? So your first one goes on, and again, you can choose, it's up to you, like how high that you want these to go and like at what angle you want them to sit or whatever. But for the most part, I like them so that the antlers are just above, right? I could have actually mounted this one a little higher than what I have, but This is a super good mount, right? It's super solid. It sits nice and flush, nice and flat against there, and they're a good mount, right? So the trick is the second one. So how do you want your second skull to sit when you make your Euro tree is sort of like the key to making this work. Well, lucky for me, I just happen to have another one of my $5 brackets, and I happen to have another Euro mount. This one is from a couple of years ago. This is a little 5-point that Elliot and I got a couple of years back. We don't have a video of this one on the channel, but it's just a weird situation. We didn't get a chance to video it. But anyway, so I've got my other Euro mount now, or my Euro skull. What I like to do for me, for my tree, is I like to put your bigger, wider ones on the top, and then you kind of work your way down. In order to decide, again, this is a bit of a personal preference, but what I like to do is I like to take my bracket, because the way I like this to look, I like the antlers of the second one to sort of wrap up around the skull of the first one. So what I like to do, let's see if I can show you this. So what I like to do is I've got the first guy mounted here, right? He looks good and everything like that. Now you can just set that in the corner all by itself, and that's a pretty good looking mount, right? You don't need to build the whole tree if you don't want to, but I like this. So you take your second chair rail or your banister rail, and literally I mount this so that I'm looking through the nose of my top skull. So you put the top one on, you look through this nose part right here, and mount the next bracket almost directly underneath it, okay? So this is gonna change depending on, I can't give you a measurement, I can't say measure down 8 inches, 6 inches, 2 inches, whatever, because depending on the size of the skull you've got here, depends on where you mount this next bracket. But for a guide, when this is standing up straight, okay, so when this is standing up like this, you want to literally mount the next one almost directly even with the nose cavity. Okay, so there you go. There was my first mount. Again, you can start wherever you want, and there's my second bracket mounted on. And you can continue this process on for as many skulls as you have sort of room for on the board. Now, I could probably get 4 on this one. It's roughly a 4-foot piece. I just put the 2 on to show you how this goes. Once you get the second one attached, you want to start with your bottom skull. The heater just kicked on. So you want to start with your bottom skull, mount it like it's supposed to be. Make sure it's on there nice and good and nice and straight. Take your next one, mount it. Right, same way. Make sure it's on there nice and good and nice and straight, and check it. You've got an absolutely amazing, in my opinion, mount. Right, so you can set this in the corner. I don't know if you can see it all yet. I'll back it up a little bit. You can see it on the camera. But I'm going to set this in the corner of my spinning shed. Right, so it's just going to sit against the wall, or it's going to sit in the corner. You can also mount this. You could technically mount this like up. So you could screw your big piece of wood right to a wall and have your Euro mount like right on it, right? So once you get it secure, like once you get it where you want it to go, then you can adjust these for like whether you want them to be completely straight or whether you want one looking sideways or whatever you kind of want. Now I like the look of the antlers wrapping up around, right? So it's a consecutive like row. Some people like them spaced out a little further. Some people, you know, it's up to you. I kind of like them looking this way because they sort of wrap each one, and then as you go down, your racks get smaller and smaller, right? So I don't know if I can show this to you or not, the whole thing, but if I back this up, right? So assume, take a look, you know, use your imagination a little bit, and that was mounted, you know, up on the wall or somewhere. Right, so you'd have 3 or 4 skulls going down here, and that would be what I call my Euro tree. So I like it. It's real sharp. Just a piece of wood that you like. Throw a coat of stain on it, whatever you want. A couple of $10 chair rails, and it's a really unique, neat way to put up your Euros, and then you can kind of see some size progression too as they go down the board. So anyway, listen, just a quick idea. Hope this is something that you can use, something that helps you out. And until next time, happy hunting from the MD Wildman channel.